Navarro, for many Latinos, racial identity is more cultural than color letter. By Guerrero Alatorre, Sofia Gonzalez, Choransky, Noel, Clinton Ted, and Van Jen. Why do many Latinos identify themselves culturally rather than racially? For decades, the Census Bureau had put 15 choices for race on the census form to gather accurate population data of the United States. One of those options includes some other race, in which 18 million Latinos select in 2010. This shocking statistic has led us to ask and explore the question of why do so many Latinos in the United States select the other box, and does this reflect upon their choice on how they identify themselves? Why the census is important? Census data on race serves as variety of purpose, such as determining the structure of voting districts and monitoring practice that discriminate in hiring and racial disparities in education and healthcare, and funding for infrastructure projects like schools, bridges, roads, and pubs. In case respondents do not specify their race, the census assigns them one based on factors such as the racial composition of their neighborhood, inevitably resulting in less accurate numbers. Below is the census form of 2010, and on the right hand pie chart is so the U.S. population in 2010, diversity index is 54.9%. As we can see here, Hispanic or Latino population is approach 16.3%, which is the second largest population in United States after white along non-Hispanic. There's the difference between ethnicity and then race. Thus, many people cannot see the difference between them. For ethnicity, it's a shared cultural traits include custom, language, tradition, heritage, and religion. On the other hand, race is a common physical trait like skin color, eye color, or facial structure or facial traits.
The issue. The split between how Latinos identify themselves racially points to the conclusion that Latinos identify more with their culture or ethnicity rather than a race. The argument by many Latinos comes to be that people with Latin American or Hispanic origin can be of any race, therefore placing them in a singular category is not an accurate representation of who they are. Below is a video that we will present, which is an example of the census form issue.
As a category of humankind that shares
Huh?
As a category of
Disparities from within. Many Latinos said they are too racially mixed to settle on one standard race: white, Black, Native American, Native Alaskan, Hawaiian, Asian, and more. Many people consider the different races like white or Black separate from the category of Latino. However, when it comes to the individual races within the Latino community, oftentimes race is superseded by factors like immigration status, language, and country of origin. Even despite being racially mixed, the Latino community is still divided by race. Politically, Afro-Latinos are more likely to support government-sponsored healthcare and oppose the death penalty. In comparison, white Latinos are less likely to support government-sponsored healthcare and are more supportive of the death penalty. Just this year, Neri Martinez, a former Los Angeles City Council president, was exposed for her racist remarks against darker-skinned Latinos, specifically Oaxacans from Mexico. This is an example of how, even though we identify ourselves more with our ethnicity rather than race, oftentimes the community is still divided by race because we have a lot of things such as colorism or classism that are still embedded within our societies and or our cultures. Disparities from within. A study in the Journal of Labor Economics in 2009 found that the parents of more than a quarter of third-generation children with Mexican ancestry did not identify their children as Latino on the census form. This challenges the perspective that Latinos identify themselves culturally rather than racially. Issues related to race in the Latino community often point to colorism or nationality as a discriminating factor besides race.
Real-life implications. However, no matter the political or geographic divide, for many Latino individuals, the concept of picking a race on the census form is not an accurate representation of their identities. Like for Alejandro Ferias, 23, from Brownsville, Texas, a supervisor for a freight company, sees himself simply as a Latino. His ancestors came from the United States, Mexico, and Portugal. When pressed, he checked some other race. He then said, "Race to me gets very confusing because we have so many people from so many races that make up our genealogical tree," he said. Rift in Arizona as Latino class is found illegal. A program in Tucson High Magnet School was declared illegal. Majority of the students were Mexican American. Similar programs for Black, Asian, and Native American students were left alone. Tom Horn, who was elected Attorney General of 2011, declared the program as a violation of a state law that went into effect on January 1st, 2011. It wrote a law that challenged the program, saying it's propagandizing and brainwashing that is going on here. Other factors in relation to identity. Offspring of parents or grandparents married to non-Mexicans usually tend to have high education, high earnings, and high levels of English fluency. Latinos are no longer present in statistics tracking Latino economic and social progress from third generation. The causation of being ostracized from a Latino neighborhood or not being taught with traditions such as culture or language can affect the background of ethnicity. In conclusion, for so many Latinos, the definition of what or who a Latino is has never been about race. Though the issue of the census and Latino identity in the United States is important, issues of colorism and racism are still present in the Latino community. Still, critics of the census questionnaires say the government must move on from racial distinctions based on 18th century binary thinking and adapt to Americans' sense of self.